Hi Reddit, my name's Sarah, I'm 26, and I usually don't share stuff like this, but after what happened, I'm feeling like I need to get it off my chest. Plus, I'd love to hear if anyone else has dealt with a situation like this. So here's the thing. I'm not rich by any means, but I manage. I've always been the kind of person who's willing to help someone out when they're in need, especially if they've been a good friend. Let me introduce you to my friend. Let's call her Rachel. We've been friends for about 6 years, and for the most part, I thought we had a solid friendship. We've been through a lot together, college, breakups, job changes, but lately, things have gotten a little off. It all started a few months ago when Rachel reached out to me in a panic. She called me crying, saying she had no idea what to do. Apparently, her landlord had given her an ultimatum: pay rent or leave. Rachel was saying she had been struggling to make ends meet for a while. She had some work issues, her car broke down, and her dog had gotten sick. Just a lot of things piling on at once. I get it. Life's hard, right? But here's the thing. Rachel's a little bit of a spender. I'm talking always out buying expensive clothes, going on lavish trips when she could barely pay rent. I've tried to call her out on it a few times, but she'd always make excuses or shift the blame to something else. Anyway, I get the call, and she's in full-on crisis mode. She's begging me for help. I swear, Sarah, I'll pay you back as soon as I can, she says between sobs. I just need $5,000 to cover the rent. Please, please, I don't have anyone else to ask. Now, I'm not heartless. I knew Rachel was in a tough spot, but $5,000 is a lot of money, especially when you're not exactly rolling in it yourself. I've worked hard to save what little I have, and the thought of giving that much to someone made me uncomfortable. But she was crying, and I'm the kind of person who hates seeing my friend struggle. I talked to my boyfriend, Mark, and he was kind of on the fence about it too. He's usually very cautious with money, and he doesn't have much patience for people who make bad financial decisions. But after I explained the situation, he agreed that I should help her out. So, after much back and forth, I decided to loan her the money. Just promise me you'll pay me back as soon as you can, I told her, handing over the money with a bit of hesitation. She assured me that it would be no problem. I even set up a payment plan in case she couldn't pay it all at once, but she reassured me she'd get it all back to me quickly. The thing is, I didn't hear from her for a few days after I gave her the money. No texts, no calls, nothing. I started to feel uneasy. I began asking around, checking in with mutual friends, and no one seemed to know what was going on. But then, out of the blue, I saw something that made my stomach drop. I opened my Instagram one night to see a story posted by Rachel. It was a photo of her lounging on a yacht with a drink in her hand, laughing, with a few friends around her. The caption said, "Living my best life, y'all." My heart sank. This wasn't just some casual hangout. It was an extravagant yacht party, something I knew she couldn't afford, not with the money she owed me. I stared at the screen in disbelief. How could she do this? How could she ask me for $5,000 in a moment of desperation, then immediately go off and live it up like nothing had happened? I felt betrayed, and a part of me wanted to pick up the phone and call her out right then and there. But something inside me told me to stay silent. Let her think she got away with it for now. After all, if she was capable of pulling this stunt, I didn't want to give her the satisfaction of knowing it affected me. A few days later, I got another text from her. It was casual, almost too casual. "Hey girl, I know I've been quiet. I just needed some space to figure things out. Can you pick up my calls when I ring you later?" I stared at the message, and my mind started to race. She sounded like nothing was wrong, like everything was fine. She was still out living her life, partying, spending money she didn't have, while I was sitting here wondering when the heck she was going to pay me back. And that's when I realized I had to make a choice. Do I give her the benefit of the doubt and keep trying to be the nice friend who would bail her out? Or do I finally stand up for myself and confront her about this? Do I let her think that everything's okay? Or do I let her know that I'm not a doormat? And this isn't how real friendships work? I decided to hold off. I didn't respond to her message right away, even though every part of me wanted to lash out. I let her think I was still the friend who would just keep taking whatever she dished out. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I couldn't just let it slide. Rachel tried calling me a few times that week, but I ignored every call. I wasn't ready to talk to her yet. I wanted to let her stew in her own guilt for a while. She had to know that what she did wasn't okay, right? I started to wonder just how far she would go before she realized she'd crossed a line. Then, a few days ago, she sent me another message. This one wasn't so casual. It was a plea. Hey, Sarah, I really need to talk to you. Please, pick up my calls. I know I messed up, and I'm really sorry. I'll pay you back soon. Just give me a chance. I didn't know what to think anymore. Was this sincere, or was she just trying to manipulate me into forgiving her? Part of me wanted to believe she was genuinely sorry, but another part of me felt like she was just saying what she thought I wanted to hear. Now, every time my phone rings and I see her name, I'm torn. Part of me wants to pick up and demand the money she owes me, to confront her about the yacht party and everything that's been building up. But the other part of me wants to just leave her hanging, let her stew in the mess she's made. And then, last night, something happened that changed everything. So, as I was saying, last night was a turning point. I was sitting on my couch, trying to unwind after a long day of work when my phone buzzed. It was Rachel. Again, her name flashed across the screen, and I hesitated. This time, something felt different. I had been ignoring her calls for days, but now, I don't know, it just felt like I couldn't avoid it anymore. I stared at the screen for a moment, my thumb hovering over the green answer button. I could feel my heart pounding. My mind was racing. Should I finally let her know how I felt? Should I finally confront her about the yacht party, the lies, and the complete disrespect she'd shown me? Or should I just let it go, let her off the hook, and maybe just move on? Before I could make a decision, the phone stopped ringing. I sighed in relief, but then a text came in immediately after. Sarah, I know you're upset with me, but please, I need your help again. I felt a mix of frustration and disbelief. She was still trying to make it sound like she needed help, like the $5,000 wasn't even a big deal, like everything was just one big misunderstanding. It was honestly infuriating. The audacity. But, at the same time, I was curious. What could she possibly need this time? I opened the message and read it slowly, every word sinking deeper into my gut. It was a long message, way longer than the others. She started by apologizing again, talking about how she was feeling lost and needed to get her life together. She even went as far as saying she'd learned her lesson and wouldn't make the same mistakes again. It was a sob story, straight out of the playbook of someone who knew they'd messed up and was trying to weasel their way back into your good graces. But then she hit me with the kicker. Sarah, I just got into this really great opportunity, but I need $10,000 to make it happen. It's a huge investment, and I swear, it's going to pay off big time. I promise I'll pay you back, just like last time. You're my best friend, and I know I can count on you. Please help me. My jaw almost hit the floor. After everything, she was asking for more money? How could she think that after everything that had happened, I would lend her another cent? But then, I thought back to how she'd manipulated me before. She knew exactly how to work me. She'd used the same desperate language last time. The please help me and the I swear I'll pay you back routine. And it worked. I stared at the message, my fingers gripping the phone tightly. Was I really going to let her play me again? I had to make a choice. I put the phone down for a minute and just sat there. I tried to calm my mind, but I kept replaying everything that had happened. The yacht party, the lack of communication, the cold disregard for my feelings, and the money I'd lent her. And then it hit me. If I let this continue, I was only enabling her. I'd be setting myself up to be taken advantage of again. If I didn't do something now, this pattern would never end. She'd always come to me when she needed something, and I'd always cave in because I hated letting people down. But no more. I wasn't going to let her treat me like this anymore. I decided I wasn't going to give her the satisfaction of a response right away. No, I was going to take my time. I needed to come up with a plan. So, I sat there, thinking about the situation from every angle. Should I just cut her off completely? Should I ask for the $5,000 back before considering any other requests? Or maybe, just maybe, I could turn the tables on her, make her understand that this wasn't how friends treated each other. I needed to think it through. I decided to sleep on it, but it wasn't easy. I kept hearing her voice in my head, begging me for help. I could almost hear the desperation in her tone, but I knew that if I gave in again, it would just reinforce that cycle. The next morning, I woke up to another message. This one was from a mutual friend of ours, someone I trusted. Let's call him Jake. Hey, Sarah, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I thought you should know something about Rachel. I don't know if you've seen it, but she's been posting nonstop on social media about a trip she just booked, some fancy resort. She's been talking about how she's finally living her dream and treating herself after all the hard work. Just wanted to make sure you're aware. My stomach churned as I read Jake's message. It was exactly what I needed to hear to finally snap me out of this. So, she was really out there living the high life while I was sitting here stressing about money I'd already given her? I wasn't going to let this slide. I took a deep breath and composed my response to Rachel. I could feel my pulse quicken as I typed, but this time, I wasn't going to sugarcoat anything. Rachel, I've seen your posts. I've heard about your trip, and I'm done. You took $5,000 from me and made promises you never intended to keep. I've been patient, I've been understanding, and I've let you manipulate me. But that ends now. Don't bother calling me again until you've paid back what you owe. I'm not your ATM, and I'm not going to let you play me for a fool. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. I felt a little lighter after doing it, but also a little anxious. Was she going to react? Was she going to come at me with another sob story? Or would this be the wake-up call she needed? But I wasn't prepared for what happened next. About an hour later, my phone rang again. This time, it was a different number. I didn't recognize it, but I had a gut feeling it was Rachel. And I knew that this time, things were about to get real. I stared at the number for a few seconds, my stomach doing flips. My heart was racing. What could Rachel possibly want now? I had made it clear I was done. I didn't want anything to do with her, especially not after everything that had gone down. I reluctantly picked up the phone, prepared for more of her nonsense. Hello. I answered cautiously, trying to sound as calm as possible. A brief pause. Then her voice came through, Rachel's voice, but it was shaky, almost like she was trying to sound vulnerable. Sarah, hey, it's Rachel. I know it's been a while. I need to talk to you. Please, can we meet up? I sighed. Here we go again. Every time I thought I was rid of her, she found a way to worm back into my life. Rachel, I've already told you. I'm done. You took the money, lied to me, and then laughed about it. I'm not going to fall for it again, I replied, keeping my voice firm. There was a noticeable shift in her tone. The desperation was clear now. Okay, I get it. I messed up. But listen, I really need your help again. It's different this time. I swear. I'm in a tough spot. I rolled my eyes, pinching the bridge of my nose. Same old Rachel. Always in a tough spot. No, Rachel. You're not in a tough spot. You just want me to bail you out because you messed up again. She was silent for a few moments, and I thought maybe she'd given up. But then, she started talking faster, her words tumbling over each other. I can't get a loan, Sarah. I swear I can't. The rent's due in 2 days, and I don't have anywhere else to go. You know I'd pay you back. Don't even try that. You said the same thing last time, and look where that got me. I cut her off. There was a long pause on the other end, and then she said it, like it was the most casual thing in the world. Chill, Sarah. It's just money. You know I'd do the same for you, right? Just this one last time, please. I felt my jaw tighten. Just money? She actually said that like it wasn't a big deal. She wasn't just asking for money. She was treating me like a backup plan for her poor decisions. No, Rachel, you've taken advantage of me enough. I'm not doing this anymore. The phone went quiet again, and I waited for her to say something else. But all I heard was her breathing, like she was trying to hold herself together. Please, Sarah, she finally said, her voice softer. I don't know who else to ask. I rubbed my temples, my patience wearing thin. I was so done with this. Rachel, no. I'm not giving you any more money, and I don't want to hear from you again about this. You've had your chances. There was a long pause before she finally sighed. Fine. I get it. You don't want to help me, okay. But just so you know, I'm in a really bad spot, and I don't know what I'm going to do if you don't help me. I took a deep breath. I'm sorry, Rachel, but I'm not your ATM anymore. And then I hung up. It felt like a weight had lifted off my shoulders, but at the same time, I had this sinking feeling. I wasn't going to let her use me again, but that didn't mean she wouldn't try. I tossed my phone onto the couch and leaned back. As much as I wanted to be done with her, I had a feeling this wouldn't be the last I heard from Rachel. A few days went by without any word from her. I tried to move on, focus on my own stuff. But then, my phone buzzed again. It was a text, and it was from an unknown number. It read, "Hey, this is Jake. Rachel asked me to send you this. She really needs your help again. Please, Sarah, I don't know what to do. She's freaking out. If you can help, I promise we'll make it up to you." Jake was Rachel's on-again, off-again boyfriend. I didn't know him well, but I had a feeling he was probably just as unreliable as she was. I stared at the text, my finger hovering over the screen. I didn't want to respond. I didn't want to fall for it again. But part of me wondered if she really was in trouble or if this was just another one of her schemes. I put my phone down, shaking my head. Rachel wasn't going to get away with this again, but I had a feeling she would try. And this time, I wasn't going to let her get the best of me. A few days passed after the final call and the barrage of texts from Rachel, but something still gnawed at me. I tried to move on. I told myself I was done with her, that I'd finally cut the toxic friend out of my life. But there was always that lingering thought, what if I was wrong? What if she really was in trouble this time? I kept myself busy, work, hanging out with my other friends, even binging my favorite shows to distract myself. But then it happened. I was sitting at my kitchen table, sipping coffee, when my phone buzzed with a message. It was from an unknown number. "Sarah, please. I know I messed up, but I need to talk to you. It's important. Please meet me. Rachel." I stared at the message for a moment, the weight of it hitting me. She wasn't giving up. She was persistent, I'd give her that. But I wasn't sure if I was ready to deal with this again. Every part of me screamed that I shouldn't meet her, that I shouldn't give her the satisfaction of thinking she could just walk back into my life whenever she pleased. But I couldn't stop myself. Some twisted part of me wanted to hear her out, just to see if she was as unapologetic as before or if there was a sliver of honesty in her this time. I typed a quick reply. "Fine, but only for 10 minutes. And I'm not giving you any more money." The response came almost instantly. "Thank you. I swear, I'll explain everything. Please, just hear me out." A part of me was already regretting this decision. I should have blocked her number. I should have kept my distance. But I found myself gathering my things and heading out the door. We agreed to meet at a cafe halfway between our places. The place was quiet, cozy, and the kind of spot where you could sit and talk without being disturbed. I wasn't sure what I was expecting when I saw Rachel again. Maybe a pleading look, or maybe she'd come to her senses, finally realizing how badly she'd messed up. When I walked in, I spotted her almost immediately. She was sitting at a table near the window, her posture stiff, eyes flicking nervously around the room. Rachel didn't even notice me walk in at first. I stood by the door for a moment, watching her, and for a split second, I almost felt sorry for her. But then I remembered the yacht. I remembered the way she had laughed off my concerns. I shook my head and walked over to her. She looked up when I approached, her face lighting up as if she was relieved to see me. But the fake smile didn't fool me anymore. "Hey, Sarah," she said, her voice soft, almost pleading. I nodded, sliding into the chair across from her. "Rachel," I said flatly, not bothering with pleasantries. "You have 10 minutes. She sighed, her eyes dropping to the table. I could see her fidgeting with her hands, her nails digging into her palms. She wasn't as confident as she used to be, but that didn't mean I was buying it. "I'm sorry, okay," she started, looking up at me with wide eyes. "I know I messed up with the money, but you have to believe me, it wasn't like that. I really needed a break, and I panicked. I crossed my arms and leaned back in my chair. "A break? You panicked and spent my money partying on a yacht." Her eyes flicked to the side, and she hesitated for a moment. I could almost see the gears turning in her head, as if she was trying to figure out how to spin this. "Look," she said quietly, her voice losing some of its usual energy. I didn't know what else to do. I wasn't thinking. I should have paid you back right away, but everything was just falling apart. You know how my job's been, and, well, things got out of hand." I stayed silent, my gaze hardening. This was the same excuse I'd heard a dozen times before. Her job was always an issue. Her life was always a mess. The excuses never ended. "So what's this about?" I finally asked, not even bothering to pretend like I cared about the details. "Why did you text me again? You think I'm just going to let you walk all over me again?" Rachel's face flushed. She opened her mouth to say something, but then her eyes widened, as if she had just realized something. Her voice dropped to a whisper, and she leaned in slightly. "Sarah, I really need your help again," she said. There was a sudden vulnerability in her voice that almost made me second-guess my decision. But I held firm, not letting my guard down. "I know you've cut me off, but I swear, I won't mess this up. I just need—" "I'm not helping you again, Rachel," I interrupted, my voice sharp. "You think you can just show up and ask for more? After everything? No. I've given you enough chances." She opened her mouth, but the words faltered. I could see the desperation in her eyes, the same desperation I had seen a million times before. This was the Rachel I knew, always needing something from someone, always demanding more than she deserved. But this time, I was done. "You've crossed the line, Rachel," I said, my voice steady but cold. I'm not your backup anymore. I'm not here to fix your mess. And I'm not giving you a single cent." Her face twisted, and for a second, I saw the anger flicker in her eyes. She opened her mouth to say something, but then she closed it, looking away, clearly struggling to hold it together. "Fine," she said, her voice quiet but biting. "If that's how you want it, then fine. I guess I'll just have to figure it out without you." I stared at her, not saying anything, watching her carefully. Part of me expected her to yell, to make a scene, but instead, she just sat there. Her expression was unreadable now, just empty. "Goodbye, Rachel," I said, standing up to leave. "I hope you figure things out." As I turned to walk away, I heard her mutter something under her breath, but I didn't stop to listen. The finality of it all settled in my chest as I walked out of the cafe, a strange sense of relief washing over me. It was over. I didn't hear from her for a few weeks after that meeting. She tried texting me a few times, but I didn't respond. I blocked her number and deleted her messages. I needed space, and I wasn't going to fall for her lies again. I moved on with my life. It wasn't easy. Every once in a while, a lingering thought would creep in. What if Rachel was really in trouble? What if she was genuinely sorry this time? But I quickly pushed those thoughts away. No matter what she said or did, I couldn't go back. She had betrayed me in ways I couldn't ignore. Months passed, and things settled down. But then, one day, I received a notification on my phone. It was an email from Rachel. Subject, "Please. Just one more chance." I opened it. It was full of apologies, begging for forgiveness, and, of course, another plea for money. She claimed that she was in a tough spot, again, that she needed help paying off some debts. The email felt like the same tired script she'd used 1,000 times. But here's the thing. This time, I didn't feel the slightest tug of guilt. Not even a little. I didn't feel sorry for her. I didn't feel compelled to fix her problems. I was done. Completely done. I didn't even bother responding. Instead, I hit the block button. Again. From that moment on, I made it clear to myself that I was never making a mistake like this again in my life. People like Rachel, people who only take and never give, who manipulate you with their problems and make you feel like you're the one in the wrong, didn't deserve a place in my life. I learned a harsh but valuable lesson from that entire experience. Never lend money to friends, especially if you can't afford to lose it. And never trust someone who has shown you time and time again that they will prioritize their own interests over yours. Rachel never came back to me for money again. She probably moved on to her next target, someone else to exploit. But I wasn't about to let myself fall into that trap again. I had lost enough. Not just money, but time, energy, and, worst of all, trust. The only thing I had left was my own peace of mind, and I was going to protect that with everything I had. My friends now were people who valued me for who I was, not what I could do for them. They were the ones who checked in on me, made sure I was doing okay, and never once asked for anything that wasn't reasonable. That's how it should have been with Rachel all along. But she was never going to learn. I learned from it, though, and I promised myself that I would never make the same mistake again.